as some of you know, I'm not accustomed to speaking in this room. So first of all, thanks for coming this evening. Friends and comrades from various places, Salford, MMU, Cornerhouse and beyond. Collaborators old and new. I've worked with Chris for nearly 18 years, 13 of those sharing an office, A103 in Adelphi. As ever, Chris is stealing my lines. My next one was that Chris christened the Love Shack. There we would write foul-mouthed reviews of the latest Steven Seagal films for online websites. Play carpet bowls and skittles in the corridor on quiet summer afternoons, and occasionally work on more serious things such as our articles and books on Cliff Twemlow, the king of Manchester exploitation film. And of course, teach on our beloved film studies course, which together we developed over the years. So of course I'm sad to see Chris retire, but happy to see him do so in such rude health. I'm sure the future offers more adventures in broadcasting, in Thailand, and in Northern Ireland. One thing is for sure, Chris, you'll be missed by many, many people whose days have been brightened up by your appearance. Talking of which, I know a couple of weeks ago I was talking to Chris and Pam, and Chris said, no gifts, no gifts. Well, of course, that's like a sitcom, isn't it? You don't get a gift and Chris is sulking because there's no gift. So there is a gift, Chris. There's a gift, a collection was taken, a gift is there. It's a voucher for Whipple's Gentleman's Store. Well, I thought you could choose a new hat, a new waistcoat. Sorry, Pam, I know you make a number of Chris's waistcoats, but there's plenty of things there. Spend it wisely, as I'm sure you will. And of course, there's a couple of cards with greetings from people from Adelphi and from Media City. So I'd like you to join me, or everybody, and just wish Chris all the best in his retirement. Cheers, Chris. It's been great working with you, and I'm sure our collaborations with me and everybody else in the room will continue. I'll just hand over to Chris to say a few words himself.
Wow. Thank you very much indeed, Andy. I didn't know that you could speak. Well, I mean, properly, you know.
You see what happens when there's a little bit of time where I can fit in.
I know, well, you're going to have a lot of that now in the library. I go away, and I come back, and I walk into the monkey enclosure. And there's no librarians where the librarians sit. There's some young lady with a beehive. And there's a man waving to me from the other side of the library. It's Paul, and he said, "We're over here now." Nobody told him either. Anyway, unaccustomed as I am, etc. Just a few things. The first half of my life was spent as a musician. The second half has been spent as an academic, so realistically I can never claim to have worked. But 50 years ago, count them, 50 golden, glorious years ago, I got a summer job unloading ships at Salford docks. I did it so I could earn enough money for sharp suits and Bob Dylan records. Imagine my surprise 50 years later to find myself working at Salford docks. Yeah. You just guessed the rest. Now, I know some of you are not aficionados, but we've had quietly playing in the background Bob Dylan's next album that he's not even recorded yet. For those in the know, right, okay. I've had to make proper notes. 50 years later, now, this retirement business, funny old thing, because people kept asking me, what are you going to do? How will you fill the time? Pam? on eBay. We've checked eBay today.
Yep.
The ice cream van is still for sale. Excellent. That's what we want. Well, what we actually thought was we're going to spend a lot of time watching movies, and we're going to look forward to watching them at home. Or, well, that's what we've decided to call it, Pam, is it? We used to call it our house. We'll call it home. Yeah, it's what Tony Wilson would have wanted. Retirement age, old age. So it's what they say, the first thing to go is the memory. Retirement age, it's true what they say, the first thing to go is the memory. Now, being all intelligent people here, you will have noticed in the newspapers yesterday and today the research from Manchester University about OAPs, which I can now officially classify myself as an OAP, and our newfound interest in sex. We are more sexually active than ever. Well, let me tell you, this is not anything new. My dad was sexually active at 79, and a couple of the other houses on our street. I remember him coming home one day. What's funny about that? He had a map. I remember him coming home one day and saying to my mother that he'd been chatting with a few of the locals, and apparently, he said to my mother, the milkman has made love to every woman on our street but one. And she said, that'll be that stuck-up cow at 57. I'll never forget, my mum and dad, when they were getting on in this sexually active business, they got a waterbed, but they just drifted apart. I'll do this one now, because I like it. What was Karl Marx's horse called? Trotsky. Thank you. Well, you see, you talk about this sexually active, and I'm reminded of a Frank Randall anecdote about an 82-year-old man who went to the doctor, and the doctor examined him and said, why are you here? And he said, me and the wife were trying for a baby. And he said, that's marvellous. He said, how old is your wife, though? He said, she's 18. He said, how old are you? He said, I'm 82. He said, I have to warn you that sex at your age can be dangerous. He said, if she dies, she dies. And which reminds me, that, oh dear, talking of doctors, as Andy mentioned, as you know, recently I had a struggle with the big C, fell off a boat. But I'm all right now. I went to see my doctor for a checkup the other day, and it was quite interesting because he said, does it burn when you pass water? I said, I've never tried lighting it. He said, I have examined you and I can't find anything physically wrong. He said, it might be the drink. I said, I'll come back when you're sober. Well, we've all heard these, and it's time. As you get older, you find that your memory goes. Oddly enough, yesterday, this is true, Pam, we were at a funeral yesterday. And there were these lads carrying a coffin. Around half an hour, I thought they'd lost the plot. I remember being old when you could go down to the shop with a shilling. You could come back with a loaf of bread, a couple of bottles of beer, a few bars of chocolate, and a pair of shoes. You can't do that now, CCTV. So on that note, I just have to say that as you get older, you lose your memory. Who am I? Pam Lee. Thank you. My name's Pam Lee. It's been gorgeous. Thanks for coming. You've been great. Absolutely. I love you all. Thank you.